Hey, what's up guys, Marco here. Today we're going to be breaking down Travis Scott's Maria I'm Drunk. Hope you enjoy the video. Maria I'm Drunk is the 11th track on Travis Scott's debut studio album, Rodeo. This track was produced mostly by Allen Ritter with some help from Frank Dunes and Travis himself. Now, in my last video, where I broke down 90210, I said this, but that's really not the case. I mean, it turned out to be one of the most challenging beats I've ever had to recreate, spending south of 20 hours or so remaking it. No. This 100% the most complex and hard to replicate beat I ever remade. I don't know what Allen Ritter and Frank Dunes did on this track, but I mean, it's something else. And somehow it doesn't sound like it's actually too much. It sounds really simple and it actually isn't that stacked in terms of instruments, but the effects and the mixing and everything just breaks it down for me. I mean, I don't know. I don't even think I've done that great of a job. I mean, it sounds more like a Maria You're Sober or some shit. I don't know. Yeah. With that being said, let's see what was so hard about remaking this track. So first of all, as you probably already know, this song has two beats, the intro and the song itself. So first things first, we're going to drag our song onto the track and then we're going to head over to the 44th bar and we're going to cut the song in two. Next off, we're going to right click on this little arrow, then select detect tempo. And as you can see, our BPM has automatically changed to 140 beats per minute for the intro. Moving on, we're going to remake the intro itself. Yeah, looks a bit complicated, right? Well, it actually is. So we're going to go through each element step by step. So first of all, we're going to start with this pad right here. I've remade this pad using two different massive presets. So the first one, the Histones preset, and the second one, which is more of a brighter pad, Magic Signs. For these two pads, I've added some similar effects, consisting of some chorus, phaser, flanger, and low pass filter mostly. Okay, next off we're going to move on to this pretty accurate, I'd say, orchestra. Here I've gone with this woodwind orchestra preset, Impurity, where I've turned off the strings, remaining only in the bassoon, flute and clarinet, composing the orchestra. Next off, in the mixer, I've added a couple more effects than last time, but the most important ones are this RC20 Retro Color, this Valhalla Room and this Parametric Q2. However, here we're going to create two automation clips, one for the Valhalla Room and the second one for the Space Nap in RC20 Retro Color. And because these two VSTs are native FL Studio plugins, what we're going to do is we're going to tweak this knob right here, then we're going to head over to Tools, Last Tweaked, and create automation clip. Next off, we're going to do the same thing for the reverb, and then we're going to create this ascending echo and reverb effect for the orchestra. Moving on, I've layered two reverse pads and two reverse pianos. For the pad, I've gone with this Simple Rhodes preset. And for the piano, I've gone with this Bossy Dorfler, I think that's right, preset. And for both of them, I've drawn these two BND notes. Next off, after exporting them as audio, we're going to reverse them. And for the pad, I've added this RC20 Retro Color alongside this Parametric Q2 to cut some of the unneeded frequencies. And for the piano, I've added some Valhalla Room, Parametric Q2, and RC20 Retro Color. Okay, moving on. Now we're going to add a really high and reverb piano. So for this piano, I've layered two different presets from Purity. The first one, which is this Velo LP piano. The second one, Vibra handbell. And the third one, this chorus piano. Now moving on, in the piano roll, I've added a lot of effects, again, but the most important ones are RC20 Retro Color, Valhalla Room, Parametric Q2, and Ozone Imager 2. Okay, so far we got this. Okay, moving on. Now we're going to add this really deep and menacing bass. Okay, so here we have layered two different bass presets, both of them found in Omnisphere by the way. The first one is this crackle bass, where I've cut a lot of the high end in parametric Q2 to remove the harshness of the crackle effect. And the second one, the cut me real deep wobble, where I've cut a bit of the low end, prevent it from clashing with the other bass, and also a pretty decent portion of the high end. Moving on, we're going to layer the bass with this big P string preset from Expand. Okay, following up, we're going to add another pad. This time a more spacey and pushback pad to add to the atmosphere. I also want to mention that I haven't really disclosed everything since I skipped over some effects and automations, because just take a look at this. Yeah, I don't really feel like explaining everything here, so yeah, now we only need to add this forest sound effect. I really don't know how they made the sound effect in the original song, but for this one that I remade, I just combined, pitched up, sped up, speed down, reverb, and God knows what to every cricket and forest ambient sound effect there is out there. I mean, really, I'm pretty sure that I spent about 2 to 3 hours only on the sound effect. So yeah, I hope you like it. Yeah, a quick pause before going into the main song. I forgot to show you how this tape stop effect right here is made. So basically, we're just going to record this part right here into Edison, after which we're going to slow pitch it down by 6 semitones, while also gradually slowing down the tempo. Okay, moving on to the song itself. Okay, so first of all, the BPM for this part of the song is going to be a bit slower at 106 beats per minute. Next off, we're going to start with this piano right here. So I've remade this piano using a couple of different presets to give some texture and to make it sound as accurate as possible. So first of all, I've added this Warm Vox piano from Xenology Pro, where I've played this simple F4 major chord progression. Next off, I've duplicated the plugin, and this time I've increased the attack a bit and I've played the same chord progression on Octifier to fill in some of the highs. For our third preset, I've chosen this bright TC piano from Purity, which I've played across 2 different octaves. And for our final layer, I've used the same preset from Purity, but this time I've played it only in F4 major to add some texture to the lows. Next off, in the mixer, I've added a whole bunch of effects yet again. So I've added some chorus, some phaser, parametric Q2, an RC20 retro color, another RC20 retro color, and vinyl, but most importantly I've turned up the wear and warm knobs, which make the piano sound a bit more muffled in a more vintage manner, and the warm knob especially, which makes the piano sound a bit out of tune, I mean a bit more vintage and just sound a bit older, which really creates that really vintage and aesthetic vibe that you can hear on the original song. Okay, moving on to the next element of our main melody. In this case we have an organ, more specifically this Amsterdam pipe organ from Massive. Also really important, in the mixer I've had this parametric Q2, cutting a lot of both the lows and the highs, and this RC20 retro color for some wobble. Okay, so with this we have the foundation ready, so let's move on to the drums. For this video I've managed to get all of the identical stems, which I think makes up for the sloppy work on other aspects of this song. So first of all, starting with the hi-hat. Here we have these two very different hi-hats layered one on top of the other. Next off we have this basic trap snare. Moving on, we have the identical kick, more specifically the legend kick with its polarity reversed, and by comparing the waveforms, it matches pretty much perfectly. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the drums. The only things we still need to add are two different basses. So with the first one, where again I've got the identical preset, which is this plain magic bass from FabFilter 1.
Like the bass, like that bass sound, boom, 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 boom.
Okay, and for the last element of this breakdown, we have another bass. This time I've used the same crackle bass preset from Omnisphere with this very harsh parametric Q2 effect. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the breakdown. So with that being said, here's the final result.